to the Life Lesson Stories. Today we are going to discuss the Brothers Karamazov Book 4. Summary Chapter 1. Father Farabont. Zosima, realizing that he will soon die, summons a group of students and friends to his side to have one last conversation about faith, love, and goodness. As he speaks, he emphasizes the importance of actively loving mankind and of carrying universal love into all dealings with other people. He also discourages his listeners from being judgmental, saying that every person on earth shares the blame for the sins of every other person. As Alyosha leaves Zosima's bedside, he reflects on his elder's impending death and thinks that surely God would not let such a wise man die without making his death with the spectacular miracle of some sort. Alyosha is certain that everyone in the monastery feels the same way, with the possible exception of the dwarf Father Farabont, Zosima's enemy and an advocate of a harsh and ascetic form of pity that bears little resemblance of Zosima's warm-hearted doctrine of love and forgiveness. Zosima calls Alyosha back to his cell. He asks him again to leave the monastery in order to help his family and to do good in the town. This time, Alyosha agrees to do so. Summary Chapter 2. At his father's, Alyosha returns home, where he encounters Fyodor Pavlovich scheming about the future. Fyodor tells Alyosha that he plans to live for many years and intends to remain a sensualist until he dies, when his only lover will be death. He says that he will eventually be too old to attract young women, however, and so he will need a great deal of money to load them into his bed. He also insinuates that Ivan is trying to seduce Katerina in order to make Dmitri marry Grushenka. Should Ivan be successful, Fyodor says Fyodor himself would be able to marry Grushenka, and Ivan ensured that his part of the Karamazov fortune would not be left to Fyodor Pavlovich's new wife. Fyodor recognizes his own weakness, and Alyosha replies that he is not evil, he is just twisted. Summary Chapter 3. Alyosha sets off for Madame Kokhlakov's house. On the way, he sees a group of young bullies throwing rocks at a frail boy who, despite his disadvantages, ferociously hurls rocks back. When the boy runs away, Alyosha runs after him, hoping to talk with him. But when Alyosha catches him, the boy hits him with the rock and bites his finger. The boy runs away again, leaving Alyosha confused and troubled, wondering what could cause such savage behavior in such a young boy. Summary Chapter 4. At Madame Kokhlakov's, Alyosha is surprised to learn that Ivan is already there, visiting Katerina. The two are upstairs, and before Alyosha joins them, he asks Madame Kokhlakov's for a bandage for his hand. When she goes in search of supplies with which to tend his wound, Alyosha is accosted by Liz, who insists that he give her back the love letter she wrote him. She says that it was merely a joke. Alyosha refuses to give the letter back, saying that he fell for the joke and that he didn't bring the letter with him. Summary Chapter 5. Alyosha goes upstairs to talk to Ivan and Katrina. To Alyosha's eyes, Ivan and Katrina are obviously in love, but they torment one another and themselves by inventing moral barriers to keep them apart. Katrina tells Alyosha that she intends to stay loyal to Dmitry, even if he decides to abandon her and marry Grushenka. Ivan says that he thinks her commitment to Dmitry is the right decision. Frustrated, Alyosha tries to make them see that they are only hurting themselves by refusing to acknowledge their love for one another. Ivan admits that he loves Katrina, but says that he thinks she needs to have Dmitry in her life. He says that he has decided to leave for Moscow the next day and says goodbye. After Ivan leaves, Katrina tells Alyosha a story about an old captain who once provoked Dmitry's wrath. Dmitry beat him badly in front of the captain's young son, who begged him to spare his father. Katrina asks Alyosha to take 200 rubles to the captain to help make up the Dmitry's violence, and Alyosha agrees. Summary Chapter 6. Alyosha travels to the poor captain's hovel, where he discovers to his surprise that the captain's son is the same young boy who bit him. He realizes that the young boy attacked him because he is the brother of the man who assaulted boy's father. Summary Chapter 7. The captain is at first overjoyed at the prospect of 200 rubles, but after some consideration, he proudly throws the money to the ground, explaining that if he accepted it, his son would never be able to admire or respect him. Alyosha sets out to return the money to Katrina. Critical Analysis Book 4. Alyosha and Zosima are extremely similar characters. Alyosha possesses Zosima's ability to ascertain a great deal about a person's inner self through simple observation. Alyosha also practices Zosima's lesson of not judging other people. Finally, Alyosha's interaction with his father shows his ability to feel empathy for people's shortcomings while at the same time refraining from apologizing for their failings. His willingness to declare that his father is twisted illustrates his honesty and integrity, as well as his intricate understanding of human character. Alyosha draws a distinction between evil and immorality. His immediate understanding of Ivan and Katrina's relationship, his respect for the captain, and his sense that there is more to the young boy than violence and hostility had attested to his ability to quickly understand other people, a skill he learns from Zosima. Dostoevsky links this capability to more purity throughout the novel, implying that the more honest and simple a person's faith is, the more easily that person will understand fellow human beings. The conflict between faith and doubt that pervades the Brothers Karamazov shows the detrimental effects of skepticism on the human character. For Dostoevsky, Faith essentially represents a positive commitment to the truth, while doubt represents the suspicion that what poses as the truth is really a lie. As a result, a religious man like Zosima is capable of immediately perceiving the truth about others, whereas an irreligious man like Fyodor Pavlovich is consumed to that suspicion and mistrust. Fyodor Pavlovich illustrates this difference in his suspicion that Ivan's attempt to seduce Katerina is actually a plot to keep Grushenka from marrying Fyodor Pavlovich. Fyodor Pavlovich himself is so dishonest that he assumes everyone around him is equally dishonest, and as a result, his lack of self-respect translates into as a lack of respect for the rest of humanity. This breakdown is what Zosima means when he says that the man who is dishonest with himself is incapable of love.